Welcome, ladies and gents, to a new video about VECTRA. Today I'm going to quickly show you one of the more underappreciated modules of VECTRA, and this is not because people don't love it, they do. Often they don't find it. It's a little bit hidden. And I can show it to you also like in the big view. This is how I made this patch. And we're using our Delta core, as you can see when I'm deactivating the FM. So I will explain the patch quickly how it works. First of all, this is an analog patch. It's yet another underappreciated quote-unquote systems in VECTRA. It has an extremely fat sound, and sometimes it's the right choice. But the cool thing is you can always just swap over and send something nice into oscillator 2, for example, in this case, since we're having FM on the oscillator 1, and see what happens. Let's switch to this. Maybe let's turn this volume automation down. Is there any modulation on it? Let's put it back on this one. Ah, AB. Now I see which one was causing that. Okay. Yeah. So you can always switch the engine blocks, which is really cool. And then on macro 1, which I can control via the VECTRA keyboard, is stereo. So as you can see, it is like put to spread, it is put to blend, it is here put to blend but not activated on blend. Let's change that, and here on spread. And then we have stuff on our filter going on, which is this LFO. This is not an envelope in the classic sense, but an LFO. Playing right now in retrigger 1/8 diolic. And then this mod envelope 2 we are using a step sequencer, mod envelope 1 we are using a step sequencer. For the amp envelope we have our MSEG generator. You can also really hear our unison working there. Let's switch the unison mode. Let's put that back. One more. Maybe a bit more. Even more. Maybe a bit less. The cool thing with VECTRA is everything can be switched quite easily. So like if I want to go to our proc engine, I can also do that if I want to go to VECTRA Fold. I can do that if I want to go to analog. I can do that. You can hear our system in action. So let's have a look at the mod matrix. Mod matrix, of course, in VECTRA is also something really special. There's a couple of things that I maybe want to change in the layout, or just give the user a couple of more options, for example, to hide that lower part and to have just the matrix list there. I think that could be a nice feature. But here you see everything what we did so far, nicely listed and with visual feedback as always. Thread node, I will show you how to activate that sequencer mode. And this, of course, is so different from our Helios mode. So Helios is fundamentally different. We can activate it quickly. That's a sequencer where you can like choose any part and do per step settings here. You can also deactivate parts. You have probability, humanize, ratcheting, and pitch. Especially pitch makes this effectively a full-on sequencer. But then this is an MSEG mode. It's basically fundamentally different, but they're both step sequencer elements. One that is for modulating anything that you want very quickly, and it's actually an MSEG mode. So like when you look at it, it looks like a step sequencer. You have a lot of also, you know, other features, like you can just like change it like this. It's elastic basically, if you want. And there's a bunch of other features as well when you are pressing shift and control and so forth. And I'm going to show you how to activate it right now. So let's create, first of all, save this patch. I'm just gonna call it nasty driver. And then I am going for initialize preset. So there you go, we have a basic preset. So how do you go about it if you want to use that mode? I'm going to quickly show you with a very simple patch. Let's go to oscillator 2 only. Let's go to mod envelope 2 is fine. To access the mode proper, you have to set it from envelope mode into one of the LFO modes. So retrigger or sync. And then what you can do is you can actually delete that point and then go convert to step sequencer. You can choose how many steps you want to have it. I usually often go for 16 steps, but that's just me. I mean, like, you can do however you please. And then we're going to quickly set it up. And if you double click in the header, you're going to get to this full view of the envelopes. Here we have an easier time of actually adjusting stuff than in the tiny miniaturized view, of course. So I can recommend using both of them for sure. And once we are done, we can try it out. We can just like take it and drag it on our oscillator 2. Maybe we go for something a bit more interesting. Let's put WT position on macro 1. That will give us. Let us switch through the wavetable. Let's try one more. Hypercon. Actually, let me quickly check. Yeah, that's on full. So void texture scramble. Let's try a couple of more. Yeah, this one is very high. Metallic bell. Let's try the sync mode. So if it's too fast, you can actually use it as kind of a step sequencer. And if you're looking at it, you will see here the semitones that you are like shifting up. +5, -9, -8, plus -12. Let's set it actually up sensibly. +14, so you have a second. This one I am putting on 0. And then a little bit faster. Let's put some really nasty distortion on that, why not? Maybe hard clip even. Let's pump up the bass. Maybe not that much. Lower the highs. Maybe even put some unison on there. Let's try another wavetable. Bum, bum, bum. Yeah, of course, if you're like, you know, non-synced, putting the first oscillator, then it will sound like this. What actually happens if we are like, let's just like quickly sync them up. Yeah, as I expected, then they behave. What you also can do if you want to use the second oscillator, of course, is you can just like, you know, use this, more voices. And let's put even like this one also macro 1 on WT1. Put some effect on there. No, not you, not you, you. Try different distortion modes. Some of them you will need to actually go inside to hear them properly. Let's go on maybe like, let's put some crazy reverb on it. Definitely put that on a macro instead. think it doesn't need a reverb. We could put one on, but it's such a bass heavy sound. There you go. This is how you use the step sequencer mode in the VECTRA MSEG. If you want to check it out for yourself, head on over to audionerds.net/VECTRA, audionerds.net with a Z in the end, /VECTRA, audionerds.net/VECTRA. 10% off with VECTRA 10. Last moment to grab your early access. And I see you guys in the next one. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it with your friends, ask any question in the comment section below. Peace out and see you guys in the next one.